Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track from an act named Aidin titled All Night Long. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. We're going to be listening through this song from start to finish. I want to hear what you think. Just go a bit close to my mic then. Let's go, let's do this all night long. What are we getting ourselves into with this one, I wonder? Oh, some interesting, are those guitars along with some filtered claps? Okay. Nice way to begin proceedings. Oh, nice filtering on the voice as well, and their bass resonance is nice and low end.
Been home for so long, now that COVID's gone, feels like I'm reborn, when dance floor pumping my song, all night long, feels like I'm reborn, when dance floor pumping my song, all night long.
Cool, we're talking about going to the dance floor and that vibe, and the music kind of matches that. I like that connection there. Hey. Great having the additional vocals as well. Sounds like you're at a party, you know what I mean?
Telling me I can't fall out. You don't know what it does to me. Your bullshit gets called out. Lacking so much empathy. Can't hear what you say. Music drowning in my game. Fake smiles look the same in the night. My games, music drowning in my game.
So we've got that one main sort of musical theme that's, you know, being repeated throughout. Interesting way of okay, we're going for those triplets. Okay, I'm familiar with that.
Stop killing the vibration. 6'3" temptation. All night long persuasion. Been home for so long.
Cool. Smooth transition back into that hook. No, I get a feeling of what this is about all night long. Yeah, it's kind of crazy going out to clubs and being around people again, you know. I can imagine people want some sort of intimacy, you know. Really kind of almost bittersweet, sensual kind of harmony going in there with the tones from those guitar parts. It's like we're sad because we've needed to hide away for so long, but we're really kind of glad to be getting back into it, just taking it carefully, I suppose.
Swear I could have heard a sound when this chains fell to the ground. Carrying me out and back around. You thought I'd gone underground. My best side is on display. Lawyer shred case files away. Court time will be a big way. Can't wipe the screen out of my face. Cause I be on vacation. Stop killing the vibration.
Have we articulated ourselves up an octave? We have, cool. I needed that little bit of validation there. It just hit me like a train. We could have potentially just had everything cut out just before this next hook. It just seems like we came in very smoothly to it, almost to a detriment, where we need like a little bit of extra elevation for the hook. I like the bass line, that repeated sort of broken chord phrasing there, dun, 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 you know, and the vocals that follow that, you know, there's a lot to appreciate there. You know, it's nice and wide in the mix, nice panning of the different instruments. Nice side chaining of those kicks as well. Gentle increase in intensity of those hi-hats to stimulate a change or a transition. A nice little shimmer at the end to sort of say that things have faded out. Yeah, I've got a lot. There's a lot to like about this track from Aidin, because this is the conclusion of my review of this track from Aidin, All Night Long. What I think this track is about, I think this track is about someone who has been stuck at home because of the pandemic, and they're wanting to get out and sort of explore and have fun and have adventures, man. And I can get behind that. I think that this is a really good direction to be going in. And clearly, it's actually interesting because here in New Zealand where I am, we have just been sort of like letting go of masks, you know, face masks. Like we've been invited to use them less, and so people are, you know, tentatively exploring the world without that protection, you know. However, whatever side of the fence you're on with that stuff, it's progress and development, hopefully in the right direction for obvious reasons. But I can relate to what's going on in this track. I think it's fantastic. It's a kind of wholesome. There's a wholesomeness, even though, you know, 6'3" temptation kind of part. I see you. I see you. It's cool. It's dope. So yeah, it's about someone kind of wanting to sort of reach out and connect and maybe have some fun, I think, after being pent up for so long. The vocal performance was great. I liked the vocal melodies and the way that we delivered the lines. Most of the words came through really clearly. Sometimes there were some held notes that may have been a little bit detrimental, but for the most part, it was fantastic, and I had a great time with it. I understood what we were talking about. The words came through clearly, though, to be fair, that's equal parts production as vocal technique, and we were comfortable within our range. And I also like the fact that we harmonized up an octave sometimes with those little vocal chops and modulators, just to kind of add a bit of spice to it in that far back, in that later section, should I say. I enjoy the fact that we didn't just stay with one type of approach there. We knew to develop and keep it engaging and interesting. The structure of the track itself is fantastic. It was nice and easy to follow. It had like verse chorus kind of vibe there with some drops and like instrumental intro, very brief one, of course. We didn't really have any intro core or anything like that. 10 seconds and boom. I love it. I love the fact that we didn't waste or like sort of take advantage of the listener's attention and time. Usually 30 seconds is too long, and nowadays 10 seconds is a sweet spot. If you come in too soon, it looks like you're a bit desperate, and people can become overwhelmed by it, you know. So it's a tricky balancing act, but I think Aidin got it sorted. The actual musical motif was like a 2-chord one. I think there was a 2-note bass line that maybe worked between some scale positions before going back to the roots of the relative bits of the harmony. I think that was great. That there was really conservative in regards to the actual melodies on top of that. The percussion was varied. We had different sounds to those claps and everything, different intensities to those hits as well. We went between 8th and 16th note grooves there. With some sort of traditional sort of like builds there that would sort of loop itself, and I think that that was what we really needed from this. I think I could have potentially wanted like there to be less sometimes, like when I mentioned about having the bass like cut out just to have those vocal chops, because that was a new element. It would have continued to be interesting to have that, just those 2 vocal types alone, then boom, come in with that 808, you know what I mean? But that's okay, it's just the little things. It doesn't mean that it's a lesser track because of that. That's subjective. That's totally fine. Now, ultimately, I think there was a nice balance between the vocals and the arrangement and accompaniment there. And the way that it was written with that kind of nightclubish, kind of fresh, kind of sort of seductive, sensual vibe there was appropriate for the subject matter, and yeah, everything made sense together. The production, recording, mixing, mastering was great. It was really well processed. It was, you know, the vocal recording was well done. I think that the initial take through the mic was great. I think the EQing and filtering of the vocals was fun. We had a bit of modulation in some parts as well, alongside, in addition to the going up an octave and scaling that. I think there was clear attention to detail there. The rest of the instruments sounded nicely leveled in the mix. You know, they had their EQing and filtering down, effects change, a bit of reverb, a bit of delays occasionally, you know, just enough to keep it vibrant and entertaining, and also professional sounding, like it's ready for release. There were no weird resonances or anything like that, and you know, it was nice and wide stereo field. Everything was notched on the frequency spectrum. Great stacking of the instruments, that's more of an arrangement thing as well, but still, you know, we didn't overdo it. And finally, the limiting compression was fantastic. Again, there was a consistent dynamic range there. You know, there was a difference, but I still, you know, wanting there to be less sometimes is more of an arrangement and songwriting thing rather than a production thing, and that's okay. That's the only thing. But effectively, that is my review of Aidin's All Night Long. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go and show you Aidin some love via the various social medias, and I'm sure this will be released on their Spotify soon. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.